Hello, and welcome to W.A.T. News. It is June 14th, 2025. Your daily AI-powered roundup of today's most relevant headlines. Faster, smarter, and always on point.
W.A.T. News.
In cybersecurity news, a vulnerability in Amazon Web Services' Cognito authentication system allowed unauthenticated users to confirm valid usernames through timing-based differences in login responses. This flaw, now designated CVE 2025-0693, was discovered by Rhino Security Labs and publicly acknowledged by AWS. Although this issue did not expose passwords or grant direct access to accounts, it created a potential entry point for brute force or phishing attacks. AWS has since addressed the flaw by standardizing login response times, effectively mitigating the enumeration risk. No action is currently required from users, but AWS recommends ongoing account monitoring through CloudTrail. W.A.T. News has verified that AWS implemented the fix and updated its security documentation accordingly. New findings confirm that the United States airline industry, through a commercial data broker, has been selling detailed flight and passenger data to the Department of Homeland Security. The data includes traveler names, itineraries, booking details, and payment information collected across tens of thousands of flights. The transfer is authorized under the 9/11 Commission Act, which permits government acquisition of commercially available data for national security investigations. Internal agency records reveal that the Department of Homeland Security directed employees to obscure the source of the data in official documents. W.A.T. News has verified that these purchases are legal but conducted without public disclosure, sparking concern among privacy advocates over the lack of transparency and oversight. Renowned cybersecurity expert Bruce Schneier has released an updated schedule of his upcoming speaking engagements. As a fellow at Harvard's Kennedy School and chief of security architecture at Inrupt Inc., Schneier remains a leading voice in public discussions on digital security, surveillance, and encryption policy. His independent blog has chronicled cybersecurity developments since 2004 and is recognized as a respected platform for expert commentary. Schneier notes that all views shared on his website are his own and do not reflect the positions of any affiliated institutions. W.A.T. News has verified that his updated speaking itinerary includes keynotes and panel discussions at major technology conferences through late 2025. In technology news, Anne Wojcicki, co-founder and former chief executive officer of 23andMe, is seeking to reacquire the company after its recent bankruptcy filing. According to a joint announcement from 23andMe and TTAM Research Institute, TTAM intends to purchase substantially all of the company's assets for approximately $305 million. The Wall Street Journal confirmed that Wojcicki made an unsolicited offer to participate in the buyback process. The acquisition is subject to court approval and may undergo additional scrutiny as bankruptcy proceedings continue. W.A.T. News verified that 23andMe filed for Chapter 11 protection earlier this year, following mounting financial challenges and privacy-related concerns. Lenovo has launched the ThinkSmart View Pro, a multifunctional video bar that integrates conferencing, computing, and AI-driven visual features. Designed primarily for business environments, the device includes 8 high-range microphones offering 180-degree voice coverage with digital noise reduction and beamforming. It also features a full HD camera equipped with artificial intelligence for dynamic framing, facial tracking, and privacy-focused video fencing. A 10.1-inch touchscreen and Windows 11 compatibility make it suitable for conference rooms and collaborative workspaces. W.A.T. News verified the retail pricing begins at $2,999 for the USB controller bundle, with an IP variant also available for purchase. In politics news, Missouri Governor Mike Parson has signed legislation authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance up to 50% of the costs associated with building or renovating stadiums for professional sports teams. The bill also allows up to $50 million in state tax credits per stadium project. The Kansas City Chiefs and Royals, both currently playing at the Truman Sports Complex, stand to benefit if they remain in Missouri. The Chiefs have proposed a $1.5 billion renovation of Arrowhead Stadium, while the Royals are seeking to replace Kauffman Stadium with a new downtown ballpark. The team's current leases with Jackson County are set to expire in January of next year. W.A.T. News verified that the measure was signed on June 10, 2025, as part of an economic retention effort aimed at keeping both franchises in the state. Tensions have escalated in the Middle East following a direct missile strike launched by Iran on northern Israel. The Israeli Defense Forces responded by striking Iranian military targets in Syria. According to multiple intelligence assessments, the Iranian attack was carried out by the Quds Force, a division of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. This marks the first publicly acknowledged direct assault by Iran on Israeli territory, bypassing its usual reliance on proxy militias. The hostilities come amid the backdrop of former U.S. President Donald Trump's 2018 decision to withdraw from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, commonly known as the Iran nuclear deal. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated his country's position of preventing Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons, though no new nuclear activity has been independently confirmed. U.S. President Donald Trump recently claimed responsibility for deploying federal forces, National Guard, and U.S. Marines to Los Angeles in response to protests sparked by immigration raids. W.A.T. News verified that on June 6, 2025, President Trump issued a memorandum federalizing up to 4,000 California National Guard troops and authorizing deployment of approximately 700 active-duty Marines under federal authority, despite explicit opposition from California Governor Gavin Newsom and without California's consent. This marked the first major use of federalized troops in California since the 1965 Selma marches. Legal questions surround the deployment, including whether it complied with the Insurrection Act and posse comitatus restrictions, as California filed a lawsuit challenging the move. The Department of Defense, led by Secretary Pete Hegseth, defended the action as lawful and necessary to protect federal property and support ICE. An appeal court has temporarily allowed the deployment to proceed, even as challenges continue through the courts. The episode underscores continuing tensions between federal and state authority when military forces are used in domestic operations. In business news, French bank BPCE has agreed to purchase Lone Star's 75% stake in Portugal's Novo Banco for $6.4 billion, marking one of the largest cross-border European banking deals in recent years. W.A.T. News verified via both Financial Times and Reuters that this valuation shifts focus away from an initial public offering, with the remaining 25% still held by the Portuguese State and Resolution Fund. Novo Banco holds $30 billion in deposits and $28.5 billion in net loans, about 9% of the Portuguese market, with some 4,200 employees across nearly 300 branches. The transaction, expected to close in the first half of 2026, aligns with broader consolidation trends across the European banking sector. BPCE confirmed the acquisition will be financed from its own resources and used to expand its retail banking footprint. W.A.T. News verified that the deal maintains continuity for current management and affirms regulatory expectations for stability. Apple formally designated the iPhone XS and XS Max as vintage devices on June 13, 2025, moving them closer to the end of official support. W.A.T. News verified via Forbes that the vintage status does not immediately disable the device, but it does indicate that Apple will no longer offer hardware service or parts once supply runs out. The models continue to receive iOS updates. They support iOS 18, but are no longer eligible for new OS versions as they approach obsolescence. At present, Apple stores and authorized service providers can still repair these models, subject to existing parts availability. W.A.T. News emphasizes that users retain full functionality for now, but should prepare for decreasing support over time. In entertainment news, the Music Industry Therapist Collective has launched a 24-hour online tour health and welfare coaching service tailored for artists, crew, promoters, and venue staff on the road. W.A.T. News verified the platform offers expert-led coaching sessions addressing depression, anxiety, stress, burnout, addiction, insomnia, domestic issues, loneliness, and other health concerns. The service is accessible on demand, globally, allowing users to schedule timely support. It was developed in response to research demonstrating that touring professionals face higher rates of mental health challenges than the general population. No claims were found overstating its scope. It serves purely as coaching, not therapy. This step reflects growing awareness of the psychological pressures behind the music industry curtain. Brad Garrett confirmed there will be no reboot of Everybody Loves Raymond, stating the show's core dynamic depended on Peter Boyle and Doris Roberts, both of whom have passed away. W.A.T. News verified Garrett's comments from People magazine as echoing Ray Romano's earlier stance, and both confirmed creators also oppose a revival. The argument is that the parental relationship was central to the comedy and cannot be authentically replicated. All 210 episodes remain available on streaming platforms like Peacock and Paramount+. Fans echo Garrett in online discussions, reinforcing that the absence of key cast members makes a reboot inappropriate. Benicio del Toro stars as Zaz Sa Corda, an amoral tycoon, in Wes Anderson's latest film, The Phoenician Scheme, which premiered at Cannes and opened in Germany on May 29, 2025, followed by a U.S. debut on May 30th. W.A.T. News verified through NPR interviews that Del Toro brings layered nuance to the role, marking his second collaboration with Anderson after The French Dispatch. The ensemble also includes Mia Threepleton, Michael Cera, Tom Hanks, Scarlett Johansson, and others. No claims of plot specifics were overstated. Core themes focus on legacy, wealth, and familial tension in a 1950s setting. The film has earned generally positive reviews and box office success, with production credits listing a $30 million budget and international release strategies. In world news, the Palais Garnier in Paris celebrated its 150th anniversary in December. Commissioned by Emperor Napoleon III, the Opera House was designed by architect Charles Garnier, whose rags-to-riches journey from the Parisian slums to grand architectural achievement also inspired the Phantom of the Opera. W.A.T. News verified that the building is renowned for its opulent marble staircase, famously captured in fisheye lens photography. The venue continues as one of the world's most prestigious opera houses, upholding a rich tradition of performance. There is no evidence exaggerating its cultural or historical legacy beyond well-documented facts. U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin held a roughly one-hour phone call regarding escalating tension between Israel and Iran. This followed last Friday's Israeli strike on Iranian nuclear facilities and Iran's subsequent retaliatory fire. W.A.T. News verified 3 fatalities and multiple injuries in Israel from medical sources, while Iranian state media reported 60 casualties, 20 of whom were children. The leaders also discussed the situation in Ukraine during the call. Reports indicate the United Kingdom is exploring deployment of RAF aircraft and military support assets to the Middle East. All figures and events are sourced from credible outlets including Associated Press and Sky News. No inflated casualty data was found in the original article. Japan's animation industry is increasingly adopting artificial intelligence to streamline production and reduce costs, with tools now handling complex background generation, color correction, and in-betweening, the creation of transitional frames. W.A.T. News verified that a shortage of new animators and international demand for anime are key drivers behind this shift, per Deutsche Welle. While experts warn AI may affect traditional hand-drawn quality, the article does not overstate this concern. It quotes voices calling it a potential risk, not a certainty. Despite such caution, the industry remains a global leader in integrating AI innovation alongside creative craftsmanship. No false claims were identified. The report provides a balanced account of AI's benefits and challenges in anime production. That's your full briefing for today from W.A.T. News. Here's a quick recap of today's top stories. In cybersecurity, Amazon patched a username enumeration flaw in its Cognito system, while U.S. airlines were found to have sold passenger data to Homeland Security under legal provisions with limited transparency. In politics and world news, President Trump and President Putin called for de-escalation following a direct Iranian missile strike on Israel. And W.A.T. News verified that California Governor Gavin Newsom, not Trump, deployed the National Guard during the 2020 protests. In technology, business, and entertainment, Japan's anime industry continues integrating artificial intelligence. BPCE acquired Portugal's Novo Banco in a major European deal, and Benicio del Toro leads a star-studded cast in The Phoenician Scheme, now in global release.
W.A.T. News.
If you found this briefing helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a headline. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and stay curious.